Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I want to talk about the state of NBA 2K24 MyTEAM right now, and honestly, the fact that I think a lot of people are just overreacting and calling this game bad when it's really not in that bad of a place. I want to talk about both positives and negatives in this video. There are a couple of major negatives that I do still think that NBA 2K24 MyTEAM has, and one kind of smaller thing as well that I'm not a huge fan of that I'd like to see tweaked in future seasons. So really three main problems that I have with the game, but then there's also a couple of positives that I want to talk about as well that I think are really making this a very fun gaming experience. And I actually think 2K is doing a pretty good job with MyTEAM in a lot of areas. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and help me push towards the 14,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it and let's take a look. Let's just start off with, I guess we'll start with the negatives because I think that's what people really want to talk about. Number one, the biggest negative, in my opinion, still in MyTEAM is the auction house tax. I think the auction house tax takes away from the rewardingness of grinding the game, especially for a no money spent or a low money spent player. Because if they spend 140,000 MT on a player, whether let's say they wanted to go pick up this new Zach LaVine, you spend 140,000 MT on Zach LaVine, and then you decide you want to sell him back next week. You lose 60,000, it's like 60% of your MT. So you're losing, I don't know, what is it, 80,000 MT, something like that. You lose the vast majority, not the vast majority, but a large percentage of your MT selling back any card to the player market, which is annoying. And yes, you can grade cards, but card grading is far more likely, it seems, to give you a 7 and not raise the value at all than it is to actually raise the value, and it costs MT to grade cards. So you're not likely to get very good value selling cards back if you buy them from the player market, which is annoying. And I think that's a big flaw that takes away from the rewardiness of grinding the game, because it would be nice if you could buy a card for 140k like Zach LaVine, but then you sell them back and you only lose 20,000 MT. So you get the majority of your MT back. Doesn't take too long. Maybe the games you played with LaVine got you the MT back where you can now buy another card. It would allow like a no money spent player to have a lot more success and a lot more lineup flexibility with their team, feel more comfortable buying cards that they know that they might want to sell back. You can't really try out cards now. You kind of have to buy the card and expect them to be on your team, especially if you're no money spent player. You can't really try out cards too much, which I am not a huge fan of personally. And I guess that kind of is affecting me a little bit because I'm actually a no money spent player now on my other account. But with that being said, I think the auction house tax is still maybe the biggest flaw in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. I think it's a big issue, and I would love to see something done about it. And then I have one other really big thing that I think I take issue with MyTEAM as well, and that is lock-ins. Lock-ins are nothing new in 2K, and we've had some amazing top-tier lock-ins in the past. Guys like GOAT Kareem and Dark Matter Bull and Pink Diamond Tim Thomas. Cards like that, Manute Bol last year as well, Chet Holmgren. I mean, there have been a lot of great lock-in cards across the game, and while I'm not the biggest fan of the lock-in concept in general, I understand it. I want to start by saying this. People get frustrated at 2K all the time, but one thing that is important to remember is that they are a business. And they're a very successful business. There is nothing wrong with them trying to get people to spend money on the game. People are allowed to spend their money on the things that they want to spend their money on. And 2K is a business, so if they can make money from their consumers, they are totally within their rights to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, the quantity of lock-ins this year, I think, has been a little bit overwhelming, and I think it's a little bit too much of a money grab. I actually don't think this year is overly pay to win. It is, because the top couple cards are gated by lock-ins, which is annoying, but I do think the game is actually, and I'll get to this in a little bit, but one of the biggest positives, this game is incredibly accessible for a no money spent player. I think it's more accessible than it's ever been. It's really in a good state for that type of player. So the thing that I don't really understand, to be completely honest, is why the lock-ins are so prevalent. I understand they're trying to make money, and I'm sure it is making them a lot of money. These lock-ins, the Shaq and the Steph, and now the KD lock-in, and there's a lot of lock-ins, but then you have this Luka lock-in. He was terrible. I didn't lock him in, but they're just trying to make money, like hiding Luka behind a paywall. That's my favorite player in the league. I'd love to be able to buy him, but I can't go buy him. Same thing with Tracy McGrady. He was behind a lock-in as well. All the 2K Day packs. I locked in Jason Tatum, and I locked in Chris Webber, actually. I think I locked in all three. No, I pulled Clay. I'm sorry. I didn't lock in Clay, but I pulled Clay originally. So I had him, but then I had sold him back. But there are so many lock-ins already this year, with the legendary path for Shaq, the cooking for Steph, and the perfect build for KD, in addition to a Dunktober lock-in, a level up lock-in, which is Sean Kemp, and then the Mirage lock-in being T-Mac. There are and all the 2K Day lock-ins. There's been like 9 or 10 lock-in sets already this year in season 1. And the thing is, when you lock in the cards, you can't sell them back. It loses you MT. You're basically losing that MT permanently. Whereas at least if you don't lock in the set, you could sell the cards back and get some of your MT back. You're getting 40% back with the auction house tax. And while I think the tax is bad, getting some back is better than getting none back. And when you lock in these cards, you're not getting anything back. And the fact that they're gatekeeping three of the most important and popular and probably best cards in the game in Shaq, Steph, and KD behind these lock-ins is something that I'm not a huge fan of, because the only way to get those guys is to spend a vast amount of money or a ridiculous amount of grinding, because you can get the cards without spending money, but it takes a very long time. And just to me, I feel like has been too much, too early in this game. I would like to see one big lock-in a season, if that. I mean, one big lock-in a season, maybe a couple of smaller lock-in set options and stuff. I like the things that they're doing here with the Showtime set, where they had a lock-in option for badges and then a Hoff posterizer or whatever. That type of thing would be cool, where you have a badge lock-in. So it's something that's optional, things like that. And it's not as necessary and as important as expensive, like gatekeeping guys like Curry and Steph, or Curry and Shaq and KD behind paywalls. Now, obviously, those guys are not necessary. I actually do think 2K has done a very good job at providing budget counters for the top options in my team right now, and they've done an incredible job with nobody spent content over the past couple weeks, especially. And I'll get to that here in just a second, but I do think the lock-ins are a little bit out of hand, and that's something I'm not a big fan of. One other negative that I do want to talk about is the mode rewards. I don't think, especially Unlimited, the modes were not rewarding enough this season. They just weren't. When you look at the stuff that you're getting, 5,000 MT there, we get a bunch of tokens, 15,000, that's 20,000 MT, 2 more tokens, another 15, that's 35,000 MT. So you get 35,000 MT, 6 Hoff badges, and a couple other things, and then some unsellable packs for 20,000 points. That is not worth it. I've played 76 games in Unlimited. I probably will not finish for this 20 bucks, because it's just not worth it. And I've played a lot of Unlimited, and I do enjoy playing Unlimited in my free time a little bit, but I do not think this mode is rewarding enough this season. I don't think the mode-specific player rewards are that rewarding, to be honest. Alonzo Mourning was good. Bruce Bowen is still good. And Julius Randle was okay. But the actual mode rewards were nothing special at all this season. And then the rewards that you got in the game modes were not that special. Raise the amount of MT a little bit. Give us some more packs. Give us sellable packs. So if we pull valuable stuff, we can at least make some sort of MT off of it. Give us better packs. Give us an updated 20 bucks at the end of the season. We should be getting a little bit more rewarded in a game mode like Unlimited than we are right now for completing the modes. I think the in-game MT reward is totally fine, but I think in these modes, specifically Unlimited, but even in other modes like Triple Threat Online and Offline, Clutch Online and Offline, I think we should be getting a little bit more rewarded after the game in terms of what the prizes are looking like, what the milestone prizes are, the player rewards, things like that should be slightly better options for our teams. So I think that's something that is certainly worth keeping in mind. I don't think it's a huge issue, but I hope to see it improved upon a bit in Season 2, especially the milestone rewards. The player rewards, they don't all have to be great, but 1 or 2 of them being pretty good would be enough for me, honestly. But I definitely want to see the milestone rewards improved a bit, because unsellable packs as the grand prize for Unlimited is just unacceptable, to be completely honest. But that being said, those are all the negatives. I do want to touch on a couple quick positives, honestly. The biggest positive right now, I think, is this No Money Spent content, man. They are absolutely cooking. 2K is absolutely doing an amazing job with No Money Spent content, with a grind like D-Wade that also rewards you with Dominique Wilkins, who is very, very usable. Kevin Love, who's acceptable. Chris Bosh was available last week, and I know he wasn't available to a lot of the community because 15 wins in a row is hard, but it is rewarding for the good player, and a No Money Spent player who's good at the game can 100% get that. There are No Money Spent top options at every single position in my team right now. Elite budget cards. Guys like Rocco, Jordan Walsh are incredible emeralds that you can buy for super cheap, and then you have free point guards like Dwayne Wade, Victor Oladipo, Kyrie Irving, etc. We had equal chance option packs or equal chance packs last Friday that could have given you guys like Ibaka, Baron Davis, Karl Anthony Towns, John Morant, DeMar DeRozan. There's so many versatile budget and free options that if you save up a little bit of MT and buy a couple of players, you can pretty much surround the rest of your squad with free options if you are grinding out the game. And I think 2K is doing an amazing job with that, and I think they're doing a really good job of making it accessible too, especially this D-Wade grind. People are mad about it, but it's arguably the best point guard in the game. For like 60,000 MT after you sell the Sapphires back, you're going to make most of that MT back just by playing to grind this D-Wade card out and then playing with him. Like, I just think people are complaining just to complain at times. I understand it's not perfect, but if this had been a totally free grind, the end reward player probably would not have been as good. Looking at 2K in the past, getting a player who is arguably the best player at the most important position in the game, which point guard probably is, getting a player who's arguably the best player at the most important position for like 60,000 MT is an insane value that we very rarely see 2K do. Chris Bosh wasn't accessible for a ton of the community, but very, very good. And for the people who did get him, and totally free. Brandon Roy, totally free, best shooting guard in the game still. Kyrie Irving, totally free, has been one of the best point guards in the game the entirety of the season 1, and is still one of the best 3-point guards in the game. And some people still think he's the best point guard in the game. He's an absolute dog. There are so many good cards in my team that are free to play and budget options right now. 2K has done a great job of making a lot of those rewards top tier options at their position as well, which is super important. Having grindable content that can compete with the best options in the game, and having a couple of grindable content ideas or things that you can do that actually reward you with some of the best players in the game is a huge W, and it's something that's honestly been missing from 2K in these past few pretty much last year after about season 1, honestly. So hoping to see that not continue, because last year they did a pretty good job season 1 with grindable content, although I wouldn't say they did this good, but they did a pretty good job last year with it as well, and then it kind of went away over time. So hoping that isn't the case. But I think 2K is doing a really good job with that. I just think content in general has been a success outside of the lock-ins. I think they're doing a really, really good job, and I think that's the biggest positive right now that I'm enjoying. But I also enjoy playing the game. I don't hate the gameplay. Some people hate it. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's competitive. I think there was a period of time where I thought the algo was really bad, but I feel like the algo isn't that bad now. It feels pretty balanced. The gameplay is fun in my opinion. I think it's more fun than 2K23. Dribbling is more fun. I think it's a little unrealistic with the shots you can make sometimes, especially with takeover, but like, I'm okay with that. It's not supposed to be the most simulation style basketball at times. I'm okay with it being a little bit more arcadey in certain moments while still maintaining a certain amount of realism. I think the game is fun. I think it's pretty balanced. I think the patch that they added doesn't seem like it was too bad in my team. Overall, I am enjoying my team a lot, and I think they're doing a really, really good job this year, but I'm hoping to see some of the biggest flaws in my team addressed over these next few days to hopefully, or over these next couple weeks. I would love to see the auction house tax lowered. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I think we got to see less lock-ins in season 2, better player awards in season 2. If we see that type of stuff, game is going to be looking really, really good. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. But just wanted to hop on here and talk about what the state of my team is looking like right now and give y'all my opinion on what's going on. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.